best podcast in Long Beach, California. This is Tacos and Workouts.
Hola, Holmes. It's me, Little Hater, and welcome to the best podcast in Long Beach. Before we get started, Doc, I want to give a big shout out to Roadium Radio and American Cholo, Doc. That's right, Doc. Check it out, Doc. A couple months back, right? Roadium Radio invited American Cholo to his podcast. And in that podcast, Gil from American Cholo, what's up, homie? He said that he was trolling Roadium Radio for a while, Doc. He was trying to get underneath his skin so, he could create some papas so he could be invited onto the show. And it didn't work because Tony A didn't do nothing, Doc. And something happened where I don't know what, they started, communicating, and then, the right channels and everything came out, what's that word? Use copaesthetics. Hopefully it means what I think it means, was just like firme, And then he went on the show, and then they have mutual respect for one another, and they're like, hey, Doc, you know what? You're a big channel. I'm a big channel too. And they said there's no beef, and because there was no beef, Doc. I think it was just a Gil, Doc, in his heads. And he was like, he thought it was some beefs, but it wasn't, Doc. It was just like imaginations, Doc. Anyways, they made it happen, Doc. And they talked about it in that episode, and it was a pretty firme episode, Doc. It was pretty firme, Doc. Come on, Doc. Well, anyways, in that episode, Doc, what was it? Gil says that if he don't get 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, that he's gonna quit, Doc. That's right, Doc. That's what he says, Doc. Everybody in the neighborhood be saying like, nah, Doc, it's not true. He's not gonna quit. If you ask me, Doc, I don't think he's gonna quit either, Doc. He likes this podcast game way too much to quit, Doc. Because you know what, Doc? It's a lot of fun. Anyways, he says that he wanted to be a big channel like vladtv and No Jumper. That's kind of like he wants those numbers, And he says that he kind of wanted to be like him. And I was like, yeah, Doc, they got a lot of numbers, Doc. Oh, yeah, big shout out to vladtv and No Jumper Podcast. Yeah, man, because, they're a big channel too. Everybody's doing their thing, man. Everyone should do their thing. And you know what? Ya estuvo, Doc. Anyways, so Gil's that's a big channel, Doc. And then I'm thinking in my head, so what's he gonna do to get on that show for them to mention him, Doc? And then a couple months passed, Doc, and everything was firme. Gil's doing his thing, working, doing his podcast. Roadium is working their podcast, and everyone's doing their own thing, Doc. And then what happens, Doc? The Tyga video. That's right, Doc. That guy Tyga, he made a video where he's dressed like a big fat guy, kind of looks like Tacos and Workouts. And, he's just eating all these nachos and stuff in his face, big fat gordo, like Tacos and Workouts. And then, they people took it the wrong way. They said it was kind of racist, Doc. That's what Gil said. And you know what, Doc? A lot of people feel that way, Doc. Yeah, it kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong ways, Doc. And then what happened? I think Gil's called out this guy. His name is Doknows from the No Jumper Podcast. And then what happens? I think Duno responded. Oh, man. Doc, he said some stuff, Doc. He said, you know what, Doc? I don't think he mentioned no names, but everybody knows who he's talking about. He was talking about Gil's. And he was saying, hey, why is it that all you fools don't get along and all you guys always do is just talk bad about each other, Doc? That's right, Doc. He says that, Doc. And then Gil came back and he says, you know what, homie? I don't want to get down with you because I'm not about that, which is true. Good, Doc. Because we're about unity. Remember, Doc, we're unity, Doc. We're unity, Doc. We're unity, Doc. We're unity, Doc. Come on. And then he says, I just want to talk to you, Doc. I want to invite you to come to my show and we could talk about this. And I guess somehow, Adam 22 from No Jumper Podcast, he started talking it with his homies and they started talking about it on the podcast. So guess what? Congratulations, Gil. Mission accomplished. Now No Jumper is one of the biggest podcasts is talking about American Cholo, Doc. Well played, Doc. Well played. And now they're talking about him, Doc. And what's going to happen, Doc? All these people from the No Jumpers are going to go, who's this guy named Gil, Doc? Because they're not going to know who it is. And then they're going to go look at Gil. And then they're going to find out American Cholo. And they're going to start looking at him. And Gil, he's got that personality, dog. You either like him or you don't like him, right? And Gil said it to himself on the Roadium Radio. I never shut up, dog. Those are his words, not mine. He likes to talk a lot, dog. And he likes to argue too, dog. Like nonstop, dog. Like nonstop, dog. Sometimes I bet he even wakes up in the middle of the night and looks in the mirror just so he could argue with himself. Come on, dog. Come on. Nah, just kidding, dog. You could take a joke, right? Come on, dog. Anyways, so what's gonna happen, dog, is they're gonna invite American Cholo to the No Jumper podcast to talk about the Tyga video and the beef, right? And what's going on, dog. And then Gil's gonna go in there and say, I think it was wrongs. They shouldn't do that. There shouldn't be anything between the black and brown community. It's about unities. We need to get along. They shouldn't be doing that. And you know what, dog? Gil's right, dog. You know what? Too many people are making too fun of the culture, dog. It's like people be laughing at us way too much, dog. And I think it's gonna happen, dog. It's gonna happen for Gil's now. This might be the catalyst to help Gil get 100,000 subscribers now. Because if you don't know Gil, dog, Gil's gonna do anything, dog. Anything, and I mean anything, to get to 100,000 subscribers, dog. Because there's no quitting in that battle, dog. It's like straight up, dog. It's like you could tell him he's wrong, and he could be wrong, and he'll argue with you until he's blue in the face, dog. That's just the personalities that he is. You know what? Come on, dog. It is what it is, dog. So that's what's going on, dog. You know what? Like I said, a lot of things have happened, dog. But I kind of want to talk about, like I said, I don't got no beef with nobody's, dog. But a lot of people talk to me, dog, and they go, hey, little hater, why is it that the people that talk about unity don't get along with nobody's, dog? They tell me that all the time, dog. And I don't know, dog. What do you think, dog? What do you think about the people that talk about unities and they see always seems to be getting into fights with everybody's, dog? What do you think, dog? Comment down below. I don't know, dog. Think people just sometimes, they don't realize they're not right all the time, dog. As a matter of fact, on that video, when there was a caller that he went onto the American Cholo podcast, and he says something about, I went to go march with the kids behind the cages, and Gil's all like, yeah, I went there too, dog. He was like, all right, and then Gil like goes on a different tangent and goes, but your movement, it lost its power, dog, because you guys were saying that this was stolen land and blah blah blah, and Gil started to kind of like not letting the vato speak, right? And then the vato tells him, hey, Gil, you don't speak for us. And I was like, wow, dog, that was the first time I ever heard Gil like not saying nothing, dog. He's just still quiet, dog. I never seen nobody ever shut him up, dog. And then you know what? The conversation progressed, and then Gil started to chop him down. Boss, like nonstop, bro. And the guy was just sitting there taking it. And then eventually Gil said, you know what, dog? I think we got off topic. And they did. And then after that, he's all like, I'm going to invite you to the podcast, and we could talk about other stuff, like what we were just talking about right now. And whether it happens, I don't know, dog. Yeah, you know what? But that's what it is, dog. But I think that Gil's going to get invited to the No Jumper podcast. And all I got to say about that, dog, is, Gil, take me with you, dog. Take me with you. I want to come out on the No Jumper podcast, too, dog. Come on, dog. Because it's about unity, dog. Unity, dog. Unity, dog. All right, dog. You know what, dog? Go check out American Cholo Podcast. Go check out Roadium Radio's podcast. Go check out Vlad TV. Go check out No Jumper Podcast, dog. Go check all of them out, dog, because you want to know what, dog? There's enough podcasts here for everybody. Meanwhile, you're enjoying the best podcast in Long Beach, California, dog. Don't forget to subscribe, you know what, dog? This is what I be saying all the time, dog. Look, check it out, dog. You could go watch American Cholo, right? And then you could go watch No Jumper, and then you could go watch Roadium's Radio, and then you could watch mine. And then you could go watch vladtv, dog. There's enough podcasts here for everybody, dog. So there's no reason why we should all be beefing with one another, dog. It's about unity, dog. It's about unity, dog. It's about unity, dog. Come on, dog. enough with the nonsense. Let's get along. Come on, Dag. All right, Dag. This was a fun episode, and I'll catch you guys a rato.